on Netflix. Papa John got fired and removed from his company, named stripped from universities for lamenting the fact that the colonel used a racial slur and got away with it. And there was no criticism. In fact, in one instance, a NASCAR driver lost sponsorship because his father used a racial slur in the 80s. That's cancel culture. Pulling Sarah Silverman off a movie because 10 years ago she did a blackface joke, that's cancel culture. Bud Light facing a massive sale.
So in this clip, we're going to watch, Tim Pool actually is going to get dismantled by, number one, somebody from his own side, but Adam Freeland is also going to call out the hypocrisies in Tim Pool's complaints over, cancel culture and defending the government taking over free speech when it came to the Jimmy Kimmel situation. Adam Freeland definitely does a good job of explaining Adam Freeland's self in what really happened and the realities of it. But believe it or not, somebody from what is supposed to be Tim Pool's own side actually shuts him up on it too. So we're going to go ahead and check that out. It's pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and get into this clip.
Backlash and having their beer pulled from stores and bars, Target losing customers and being criticized. This is consumer backlash. So I certainly don't think a teacher who criticizes Charlie Kirk should get fired. What I will add on top of this is the real reason stated by the reporting from various outlets, left and right, was that Jimmy Kimmel was going to continue that line the next day. And that caused concern they would lose more advertisers at a time when Jimmy Kimmel's ratings are down 43% and he's costing them millions of dollars. So if the FCC is to come out and say, we are going to get you taken off the air, that's a bad thing. But I think it's important that we discuss the context around when a business has a right to say, you are threatening the existence of our company.
Adam Freeland, I interviewed Jay Leno about a year and a half ago, and he was really interesting about...
Wow.
Yeah, it was actually great. I went to his car garage in LA. We had a great few hours. I loved it. But what I liked about what he said was, he believed in teasing and gently mocking all politicians from all sides.
Correct.
And he talked about the kind of real sort of golden period of Johnny Carson. Nobody knew Johnny Carson's politics at all. And yet, if you've watched late night comedy in America in the last 10 years, since Trump became a politician, all of them, they're all middle-aged white guys, which always makes me laugh when you think about the diversity push, which never seemed to attack late-night comedy. But they all, to me, developed an increasing loathing of Trump, which began to really distort what their actual job was, which was to make Americans laugh late at night. I stopped watching them quite a long time ago. I could not watch it. Jimmy Fallon, I would kind of keep out of this. I think he's always been a lighter touch, but I think Kimmel and I think Colbert in particular, they really went hard in the anti-Trump rhetoric. The View, it doesn't have alternate views. It has one view. They all hate Trump.
Very funny
they all came out in black funereal clothes after he won again. And I don't think these serve their viewers, and I don't think they serve their companies. But I also feel uneasy, as Kat said, about the FCC poking its nose publicly into making not even veiled threats, but direct threats that if ABC, Disney didn't take action against Kimmel, then they were going to pay the consequences. So
when he did those direct threats on Benny Johnson's show, just as context. By the way, guys, if you do like the clip, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you to every eye that lands on these videos.
You sit with all this.
Listen, I'm new to your audience, so just to introduce myself, I am a tell it like it is comedian, and no one's safe from my jokes, be it bratty kids, celebrities, politicians, people that just walk by. They're all fair game, but it is still deeply unconstitutional and immoral for the president to silence his enemies. But I think what's important now, especially because it's so crazy right now, is that we zoom out as people, like human beings. And there's a lot of kind of empathy being expressed towards Kimmel right now. But where is the empathy for Donald Trump? Certainly what it seems like to me is that he feels like he's been bullied. And I've been a victim of bullying my entire life, and still I am regularly. I'm on the internet. But I've always said to my bullies, while it's disrespectful, rude, hurtful for them to be saying that, I support their constitutional right to be saying things about me that aren't true. So, previous Democratic administrations have gotten the same treatment from conservative comics like Dennis Miller, Michael Richards, Kill Tony. I'm sure a lot of that caused Joe Biden a lot of pain, but never were their constitutional rights violated by the executive branch of the government. And I think that is what the clear difference is here. And I think for all of us as a culture, we have to ask ourselves, like, is the president suffering right now from being made fun of? And the truth is this, like 30% of Americans suffer from depression, and there's a stigma. And if that is indeed true, like he should feel equipped to get help. And it is a public risk.
Clearly, he's making a joke right now, which I think is kind of funny to make. But her face is really miserable here. But I wonder if it's lost on Tim Pool, the actual joke that Adam Freeland is making, because he's right. People have their constitutional rights to make fun of people. I mean, MAGA's always talking about freedom of speech, but suddenly, in the last 2 weeks, I don't even know what is going on over there. It just makes no sense. Hypocrisy is their middle name. They don't care. They're in charge, basically, is what they're saying, and they're going to do whatever they want to do. But I really kind of want to get into this part of the clip, which I thought was pretty interesting, was Tim Pool being dismantled basically by his own side.
Threatening language, and you can talk all you want about the local stations pulling out, but the Nexstar was looking for a merger. They're looking to get rich off this. They're gonna do what the FCC says. If people would like to believe that's a coincidence, that's fine. I don't believe it's a coincidence when it's the one difference. When Jimmy Kimmel has been making these sorts of comments, jokes, some are just political commentary, going really hard against Trump, really hard against the right. And then the one thing that's really different this time is that just hours before, the head of the FCC was threatening. That to me, that's what makes this different. And I'm not a Democrat. I'm not on the left. I'm not on the right either. I'm just an independent, and I'm a free speech advocate. And as a free speech advocate, if I cannot imagine having any other take, but at the very least, being able to understand how someone could possibly think that maybe this had something to do with it.
Yeah, Tim Pool, I got to say, it's a persuasive argument that Kat makes.
I don't think so. It's just not the reporting. I certainly understand when Brendan Carr says,
I don't believe everything I read in reporting. I think for myself.
Indeed. So you make things up, I guess, because what I can only go off of is what the left and the right.
What did I make up, Tim? What did I make up? Everything I just said was factual. No, you're going to accuse me of making things up? No. What did I make up?
You made up that the FCC had a direct.
What did I make up? I didn't make up anything. Everything I said is what happened.
An assumption that I think is not unreasonable, but the official reporting from left-wing sources and right-wing sources, I mean the more mainstream ones, is that the executives were largely behind Jimmy Kimmel. Advertisers, as well as affiliates, took issue with the comments he made, insinuating the assassin was somehow a Trump supporter, whether that was unintentional or otherwise. Jimmy Kimmel, as officially reported, did not want to apologize, didn't feel he needed to apologize, and wanted to further those comments criticizing MAGA for twisting his words. If we are going to make the assumption the principal reason his show was taken off the air was Donald Trump and the FCC, that would be us speculating, not going off the main reporting. And the only thing I've heard this whole time with even Ben Smith and everybody is the assumption that is true, despite the evidence suggesting it played a minimal role. So I think it's fine.
So Tim just got caught on his own words, despite the evidence suggesting it plays a minimal role. First of all, she's saying that Kat is making up, which this girl is not a Democrat. She's not. You would never think of her to be a progressive, but he's saying that Kat made up the fact that the representative from the FCC went on Benny Johnson's show and started making his threats. Now, he could say that he was just talking and doing his free speech, right? And he didn't mean anything by it, but now isn't that the same thing with Jimmy Kimmel? So this is the hypocrisy of MAGA. Tim Pool, everybody, and by the way, even on the right, people have already been calling Tim Pool out for being a total grifter, establishment dude. Always said he wouldn't go establishment. He is establishment now. It is what it is. Then he gets to go to the White House. I mean, this guy's going to the White House, right? So it's like he's not going to go against the Trump administration and say anything that is of any kind of substance. So, mean, it is what it is, but you love to see it. And yeah, see you guys at the next one. Bye.